Welcome to Television Sydney News. I'm Christina Pollard. It's great to have you with us. In this bulletin, a firefighter commended for bravery during the Quakers Hill nursing home fire. Opposition claims Western Sydney students will be hardest hit under the government's education cuts. And an exhibition celebrating children's book author Jeannie Baker. But first, a man and a woman have been charged with the murder of a respected senior police officer in the Hawkesbury district. Detective Inspector Bryson died on Thursday after police responded to reports of a neighbourhood dispute on Skywell Road, Oakville, about 2 p.m. He was treated at the scene before being taken to Hawkesbury District Hospital, where he later died. A 19-year-old man and 45-year-old woman were arrested and taken to Penrith Police Station. They were interviewed by detectives overnight before each being charged with one count of murder. They were refused bail and appeared in Penrith Local Court on Friday. New South Wales Police Commissioner Andrew Scipione paid an emotional tribute to Inspector Anderson, saying he was an excellent officer and a good bloke. Inspector Anderson is survived by his wife Donna and 3 children. His father and brother were also police officers. An investigation into circumstances surrounding his death is continuing, and a report is being prepared for the coroner. Firefighter Brett Johnson has received a bravery commendation for his actions during the Quakers Hill nursing home fire tragedy. The relieving station officer, now based at Castle Hill, was the first emergency services worker to arrive at the scene on November 18 of last year, and also the first to receive the individual commendation for courageous action at Schofield's fire station on Wednesday.
When I was leaving the wing that was alight to send an updated message, I'd noticed that the second wing of the hospital, opposite the initial wing that we had entered, was completely alight as well. So there was no sign of smoke upon initial arrival, but from inside the nursing home, we'd now noticed that there were 2 fires. Mr
Johnson says he had no time to think about his own family when he entered the nursing home to rescue the 88 patients.
You're completely entrenched in the job and in the task that you've got at hand.
Firefighters, police, paramedics and nursing home staff were presented with the Fire and Rescue New South Wales commendations by Commissioner Greg Mullins. Macarthur's 3 state Liberal MPs are calling on AGL to rethink a proposed expansion of its coal seam gas operations. Brian Doyle, Chris Patterson and Jai Rowell have joined Campbelltown Council in opposition to the plans, and a public protest rally is being proposed for February. If approved, the next stage of the Camden Gas Project will see 66 gas wells drilled close to homes in Kearns, Varraville and Eskill Park. Wallandilly MP Jai Rowell says there are plenty of good places to drill for coal seam gas, but underneath homes isn't one of them. An 8-year-old boy with type 1 diabetes and his sister are helping researchers at Westmead in a world-first study to prevent or delay the onset of the disease by using cord blood. Bryce Gardner and his 4-year-old sister, Araminta, are taking part because their parents stored Araminta's cord blood after she was born. Bryce, who uses an insulin pump every day, is happy to help out because he doesn't want Araminta to suffer with the disease the way he has. Cord blood is now also being used to help treat blood-related cancers like leukaemia. The foundation stone for a new Romanesque-inspired church in Rouse Hill will be laid on Saturday. The 500-seat church will replace a modest demountable building already catering for a parish of more than 800 people. Parish priest Father Warren Edwards says the new church will feature a mix of architectural styles.
The liturgical design will be a bit more modern, which will feel like we're closer to the altar and a bit more around the altar. And the altar is always the main focus of it all. And we're hoping to have some beautiful artwork done inside. So again, lift people's minds and hearts to God when they come inside.
The new church at Our Lady of Angels site will have stained glass windows, an upper storey choir area and frescoes.
It's got a 12-month building program, but it's not going to be completed in 12 months. It's going to take lifetimes and generations to complete this church and keep making it more beautiful. That's the way all the beautiful churches happen in Europe.
Parramatta Bishop Anthony Fisher will attend the foundation stone laying ceremony and bless the site. Western Sydney will be the biggest loser under the New South Wales Government's education cuts, according to the state opposition. Opposition leader John Robertson visited Blackwell Public School in St Clair on Wednesday, urging parents to sign a petition against the government's $1.7 billion cuts. He says Western Sydney students need assistance because the region traditionally contains more lower socio-economic areas, but that teachers' aides positions in his own seat of Blacktown have already been cut.
At the end of term 3 and the start of this term, 5 of my schools lost their teachers' aides, which means every kid in that school or in those 5 schools with special needs is now missing out already because of these cuts. The cuts that the government is implementing are going to be felt dramatically in Western Sydney.
The government remains committed to the cuts, saying budgetary measures had to be taken in the back room to ensure more investment on the front line. Parramatta Council has endorsed 19 urban design concepts that provide a blueprint for the future of the city centre. The concepts for the sites are part of the Council's Design Parramatta, a project aimed at transforming the public domain in the city. More than 80 urban designers, architects and artists teamed up to recreate Parramatta's spaces, streets and laneways over a period of 6 weeks. Parramatta Lord Mayor John Cheddard says Design Parramatta is about reimagining the city, especially spaces that are run down, underused and need rejuvenation. Places identified for a facelift include Church Street Mall and the River Foreshore. A union is warning fire stations are being closed temporarily to cut overtime bills, causing delays in response times. The Fire Brigade Employees Union says the practice could lead to death or serious injury. Mick Nairn from the union's South Branch says it took 1 hour and 3 minutes for a heavy rescue truck to attend an incident at Brighton Le Sands last Saturday because the nearest station at Hurstville was offline. A department spokeswoman says safety is not being compromised as other fire stations are always available when stations are closed temporarily. The Greens have slammed plans to rezone 600 hectares of land in Cranebrook and Castlereagh. Penrith Council has been urged to consider a proposed local environment plan that creates a rural subdivision within sections of Cumberland Plain woodland. The Greens say the plan fails to allow for the interlinking of remnants of woodland and will lead to a massive loss of endangered species. They've called for an independent ecological assessment of the land. Liverpool's Brands Outlet Centre is a signature away from opening again. Changes to the local environment plan approved by Liverpool Council recognise the Orange Grove site as a standalone retail centre. The centre was shut down in August 2004 when the legality of its development consent was challenged in a high-profile court case involving Westfield. Gazcorp director Nabil Ghazal Jr says he and the Ghazal family are looking forward to putting the 8-year saga behind them. Southwestern Sydney doctors are encouraging people to get vaccinated against measles, following 95 confirmed cases of the disease in Macarthur and Liverpool from July to October. Eldersley's Dr Matthew Gray says the benefits of vaccination far outweigh the risks, with immunisation protecting against diseases that cause serious illness and death. He urged people to download a free online booklet containing the facts about immunisation. Policewoman Natalie Newman is losing her battle with cancer, but her colleagues at Cogra are making sure her daughter will get the education she wanted her to have. St George's top cop, Superintendent Dave Donoghue, is swimming from La Perouse to Doles Point on Friday to raise money for 8-year-old Emily Newman. More than $46,000 has been raised so far. 33-year-old Miss Newman recovered from cancer in 2007, only to be diagnosed with inoperable ovarian cancer in July this year. She doesn't know how much time she has, but says she'll spend every minute fighting the disease and being with Emily. For Santa and the rest of us, Christmas comes around just once a year, but not for Leo DeMasi. There are roughly 3,500 Christmas trees to choose from at his farm in Dural. The Christmas trees are a radiata pine.
Their seeds actually come from New Zealand. They're specially bred for the Christmas trees, and they're propagated in nurseries in Melbourne, and they come as plantations, little seedlings about this big. And a good Christmas tree takes about 3 to 4, 5 years for them to grow.
Mr DeMasi sells up to 800 trees in the weeks leading up to Christmas, and Parramatta Eels great Nathan Hindmarsh is among his regular clients.
Speaking to the clients that come here, the trees, like you wake up in the morning in the house and get that first breath, that first smell of the pine, you know it's Christmas, and for a moment all your problems are gone. It's just that instant that, wow, it's Christmas, and then the usual routine kicks in.
And in sport, Australian cricket has a new star on the horizon, with Quakers Hill batsman Joe Hiley breaking Test star Usman Khawaja's Junior Creek Shield batting record. The 11-year-old opener hit 25 boundaries on his way to an unbeaten 139 for his representative association, Hornsby, Ku-ring-gai and Hills District.
My action breaking was my quad's record. It just felt fantastic. When I woke up halfway in the night, my dad showed me the message that I'd beaten his record. I basically nearly fainted.
Joe's record-breaking stand was also the young batsman's maiden 100 and first attempt at batting as an opener.
It felt really quite amazing. Just at the 80 mark, I didn't even know that I'd made it that much. All the other teammates were telling me, you need your 100, so I just kept it out of my head. And then when I finally got the single, my teammates started cheering. That's when I knew I had it. I felt really good.
Joe hopes to use the record as inspiration to move up the batting order at club team West Pennant Hills Cherrybrook and improve his batting average. Members of Granville's Australian Golf Heritage Society are playing golf the way they believe it should be played. Pants tucked into socks were all the rage as competitors removed modern graphite iron shafts from their bags and replaced them with an older wooden-style club at their latest tournament. One of the society founders, 1957 Royal Sydney Cup winner Tom Moore, says every club and outfit used on the day was reminiscent of the early 1900s. Everything, that is, except a few golf carts to accommodate players with bad hips. Tom says using the old equipment makes players think about how they'll get around the course instead of relying on modern putters. The new president of the Macarthur Collegian Cycling Club hopes to boost the sports profile in the region. Peter McLean says Macarthur is an exciting cycling destination with many people travelling there to train and compete. McLean says the club will focus on the area's youth through school programs. Members will also take part in regular local club racing, the Macarthur Open cycling event and the annual Goulburn to Camden Cycling Classic. And finally, children's book author and illustrator Jeannie Baker has brought her latest exhibition to the Blacktown Arts Centre. The concept for her latest book and the mirror exhibit was decided after a trip to Morocco. The Australian Children's Book Council Picture Book of the Year award winner says she was amazed by the humility of the people she met while on the trip there. The exhibition also features artworks from Blacktown primary and secondary school students inspired by Baker's pictures and books. The free exhibition will run until February 2. And that's all for this bulletin. For more information on any of these stories, pick up your local Fairfax community newspaper. I'm Christina Pollard. We'll see you next time.